first off, I want to congratulate you guys or Kuristina on winning season 4 of H355. Um,
Cheers, dude. Thanks.
yeah, so, I want to start
I'm your
off
biggest fan.
the interview mostly with Kuristina because I want to get to know
Yeah, dude.
from the beginning. So, first question I'll ask here. Um,
All right.
when when did you start playing for White Lightning?
White Lightning. Well, the team has like had a couple iterations, right? So first we were, like NA Elements or NA Alliance is what we called ourselves when we had Froggen as our captain, and that would have been that was for Terracotta LOL, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with or not. That was the original version of
Yeah,
5v5.
I've heard a lot about it, but I
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah, yeah.
around.
Right, it was the failure version of like the current system.
Yeah.
And we were like NA Elements, NA Alliance then. That was about like a year and a half ago, I think.
hmm
Um yeah, it sounds right, like a year and a half ago, maybe even longer than that, maybe even 2 years, is when around that that was set up, and around that time, I was just the team's coach. Um, I wasn't allowed to play for the team since I was Diamond, and it was like a plat only league at the time.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, so I just coached the team. It ended up the Terracotta LOL like was kind of a crapshoot. A lot of no shows, a lot of just stopping stuff. So I ended up playing AD carry for the team because that was the position on their team, but they had the most trouble finding like a consistent bet. So I started playing AD carry for them. We won some PGL tournaments, which I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with those either. They're just basically like a best 2-day best of 3 tournaments. You just play in like a 16 team bracket, and we actually won like 2 or 3 of those. So that was cool because that was back when Riot Rising was 3200 RP, so that was a lot of fun. And then we took a really long break, and then I heard about House Party through Kuro Sakai. Saw's AD carry this season. He's a really good friend of mine back from the T-Lol days. And from there, I kind of talked to Froggen, and he was kind of like, "Yeah, I don't know how much I'll be able to play because of real life stuff." So that was kind of when he kind of gave the team over to me because he was the original like owner, creator, captain of the team. It was kind of like a slow transition at the beginning of like season 3, the last season of House Party, and then from there, I mean, like the rest is kind of like history. We went on to win the 2 titles, had like minimal roster swaps, and yeah.
So, I've heard a bit about Froggen, but like, what was he like, and how was it to play with him?
Froggen, if you want the honest truth, he was really really cool dude, really really fun guy. Um, Trying to think of a good way to put it. I remember when we first met, everybody on the team was like plat. Um, Senpai was on the team, Froggen was on the team, and Simkev too was on the team. But none of the current other people were actually like major parts of the team. They were maybe subs at the time. So he wasn't like the greatest player. He was really really tilt prone. When he played mid lane, like if he got camped, dude, that guy was like irrelevant the whole game. He'd shut off and wouldn't talk. But like, he was really great for the team environment. He was a really really cool dude. And at times he was a really good player. He was like a really great Anivia and like a control mage type player. So in terms of his playing ability, he was just all right. But in terms of what he brought to team atmosphere, the dude was a really cool guy. I definitely miss playing with him.
hmm And when did you become captain? Like, what season or when time period?
Right when we got into house, he just told me he wasn't gonna have a lot of time. I don't really remember the exact things that transpired because this was like this summer, so it was a really long time ago. But I was like, "Yeah, do you want to get the team back together? It's been a couple months because we kind of took a break because of school stuff." And he's like, "Yeah, I have work now, so I don't know how much I'll be able to play. So you can kind of be captain or something like that." So it was pretty much from the beginning of the house party team since we became White Lightning, I guess, is how long I've been a captain for.
Okay, and how about you became captain and then your brother joined the roster? How did that happen?
Noah Chicks LP joined the roster, I think, towards the end of season 3. Um, I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with Learning Climb. He was our original jungler. He was our jungler back with like NA Elements, NA Alliance, that
hmm
old standing roster for quite a while. And then coming into House Party, he was our starting jungler for the majority of the season. I want to say like 6 7 weeks because this is back when it was only 1 game per week. Um, so he was like the majority of the season. Then like the last week of the season, I think he just kind of disappeared. He was starting college at the time, and it was just kind of rough for him. And he just said, "Yeah, I need to focus on my real life stuff." And so I haven't really seen him on League a whole lot. I think he started to play more recently, but yeah. So he kind of just disappeared, and I was like, It's really hard to find junglers. It's one of the hardest positions to find really good players at. And I know my brother was interested in kind of playing on the team, and I knew he was like a super solid player mechanically, and he was like a solo lane player at the time. And I'm like, yo, do you want to jungle for us? It might work out, and it worked out beautifully since we like swept playoffs and everything. And yeah, we just ended up keeping him on the roster for the next season as well.
All
So
right. So you know, I wasn't around for season 3, but I know you
right,
guys won that season as well. What were your thoughts after
yeah,
winning that final? Like, what were your thoughts after winning that one?
winning that final was a lot. Um, it was a lot more satisfying than this final. Mainly because that run for us was a really dominant run, and it was during the summer, so we were all able to put more time and effort into it. Even though the league wasn't nearly as good last in season 3 as it was, this season and season 4, it was definitely a lot more satisfying. Like I remember after we like won the third game, we are all kind of like yelling, cheering, and team speak and stuff. Like that was really a really satisfying run for us because we that was probably like the peak of our teams, like how close knit we were, how much we like spent time, talking on TS together, and that was definitely the peak of like White Lightning in terms of like how the camaraderie of the team. So that win meant like quite a bit to us. It was a lot of fun.
Mhm. And so after you won that final, were you guys planning on playing in season 4 as well?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We definitely were planning on playing. A lot of my team members were kind of disinterested, but they're like, yeah, let's give it one more run because they knew the league was going to be a lot more tough. They saw some of the teams coming in and it was going to be a lot more competitive. So we figured some other teams would be able to compete better with us. So we wanted to see if we could get another run at it. I remember there was actually a really quick turnaround. There was only like 1 week in between the seasons, and we all kind of wanted a longer break because we just spent the last 8 weeks going really hard at the game. So at the beginning of the season, it was kind of rocky because a lot of my players wanted more time off, and some people didn't want to play certain games just to have a week to chill out and stuff. So that kind of sucked. That's kind of why it's kind of weird that people had the perception that we were a weak team, at points this season. We just had 2 0-2 weeks is all like we really had, and those were just weeks where um, either I was kind of taking some time off, or different players on my team weren't playing, and it kind of got the perception that we weren't as strong this season, even though we ended up the season 14-4 and in first place after the regular season. So
Yeah.
yeah, we definitely planned on playing this season. It was just a bit rocky at times because of motivation. I'd say was the biggest issue there.
Yeah. You guys for the majority of the season, you guys had Hobbs in the mid lane. What was
Yeah.
it like playing with him?
Hobbs was a cool dude as well. He was friends with Froggen was initially how we met the guy. He's like a really really good player. I remember when we first met him, he was really really immature. We actually wanted to have him on our team, but he was super immature because he was kind of a younger guy, and it was really hard to have him in a team environment, like a serious team environment that we wanted. So initially we didn't have him on our team for that reason, and because he was like a solo lane player and our solo lanes were taken care of. But it was really cool to see that kid, like he really grew up as we were like playing on a team together. It was kind of cool, even though it was only over the course of like a year. He got a lot more motivated, a lot more serious, and like I said, like his peak was around the grand finals. That was when he was really playing well. He was really motivated with the game. He was a really cool dude to play with, and then it was unfortunate that he just wasn't motivated to play league anymore. So that's kind of why he ended up stepping down. So, but yeah, he was a really great guy to play around.
Okay. And when you had to replace him, what were you think your options at the time? And why did you decide to
Uh,
go with Corrupt Hope?
Well, it was kind of like really perfect timing because it had been a couple of weeks that Hobbs had just been like first person to leave TeamSpeak, just not really that focused when we were playing even our like actual house party games. Um, which is no discredit to him. He was still a phenomenal player and a good guy. He just wasn't, interested, wasn't motivated. So, it was around that time that Kevin and I were playing for our Iowa State University team in the NACC tournament qualifiers, which is basically I don't really know how to describe it, but it's basically a chance to earn like scholarship money for playing league through your college. So that was really cool, and we played with a mid laner on our team who was like really really good, and he hadn't really played in a team environment before, and that was kind of his first experience. And we had a decent run in the NACC qualifier. We think got to the round of 32 and top 16 were the ones, or top 8 were the ones that ended up getting money. But there was like a 200 team tournament, so like we were pretty solid squad. And so I ended up talking to him and saying, "Hey, our mid laner is like really not motivated. He kind of wants to be replaced. We're looking for replacements. Would you be interested?" And he's like, "Yeah, dude, sounds cool. I really enjoyed playing with like you and Kevin on the college team, and so we ended up bringing him in, and it worked out brilliantly, thank God. So that's kind of that story.
Yeah, pretty cool. So then, you know, there's a lot of talk that you guys weren't performing well, but as you already touched, you guys did go 14-4. What
Right.
were your thoughts going into the playoffs? I mean, you guys had just gotten Hope, right?
Yeah, Crep Hope only played the last week of the season with us. So.
Yeah. So like, what were your thoughts going in? You guys think you were gonna put on a show like you did?
Yeah, I mean, we were pretty confident going into the first round matchup because we were playing the Inquisitors. So we really wanted to get the 1 seed. That's why it was important we 2-0'd the last week of the season since we ended up getting first place by 1 game. So that was really big for us because we knew, no offense to their squad, the eighth place team was a big difference between playing the seventh place team, what ended up being the Dream Killers, and as you see, they made the finals. So it was really important for us to get the 1 seed because we played the Inquisitors. We definitely dominated those 2 games, and then the Spooky Midnight game was a game that there was 3 weeks in between before the Inquisitors game into the Spooky Midnight game. We had like a 3 week break, and so we took 1 week off, and then we just had 2 weeks of like full prep to go really hard for that series. Um, so yeah, I'd say we were like definitely really confident going into the Spooky Midnight series. Um, we definitely tried to hype it up as like the championship game for us because we thought they were the strongest team remaining out of the 4 remaining in the semifinals. So we're just like, yeah, treat this like a championship game. If we get into the finals, we knew we weren't going to have a lot of time because that was actually finals week for college for a lot of us.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah, I
just
heard.
really wanted to get into the finals to play the championship game, and then whatever happened then wasn't a big deal. But yeah, we were super confident going into our first 2 matchups for sure. We definitely thought we would make another finals appearance, but the finals was kind of just a whole different story. So
Yeah. So during the finals, you guys played really well in the first two games. But the third game came up as a really big surprise for me. I watched the third game and I watched the entire series. I watched the third game and I'm like, wow, how are they losing? And I was just like, they'll make a comeback, right? They'll win this game 3-0. They'll win the series. And then
right,
you
right, right.
guys
It
just
was
dropped the ball.
yeah. Um, third game was interesting. I think it had a lot of elements. In game 2, we actually didn't play game 2 that well. We were down early game. It kind of required them pulling a Dignitas for us to win. I still think
Remember
we
that?
could have won it, but yeah, they definitely threw it to us. Um, and we just kind of capitalized on that. So game 2 was kind of even on both sides, but game 3, um, I know. I remember reading the interview with Kevin and talking to him after the game. He was like, "Yeah, that game was completely my fault." Um, and I think it was equal parts his fault and my fault. He made like an over an extension level 2. He thought they like blew a summoner or something, and I was like trying to tell him to back out, but he kind of just suicided in. And for some reason that just I'm not usually that tilt from off of one mistake, but I got tilted off the face of the earth, and I remember I started that game like 1-5 or some shit, and Krupp was really like on tilt mid lane because he was getting camped, and we were just losing 2v2 bottom. So it was kind of just unfortunate because we're used to our like bottom half of the map really pulling through, and in that game it was the top half of our map pulling through. So it was kind of it
Weird.
was it was rough for us. Yeah, it was weird. It wasn't how we're used to playing. So um fortunately we bounced back game 4. But yeah, game 3 was one of the roughest games I think we've ever even played
Yeah.
as a team. That was
I,
probably our like worst loss as a team ever.
I believe when I was watching that game or whatever, I was seeing Simkev was playing Nautilus, you were playing Tristana. Simkev was in the middle of just the enemy bottom lane, and you were just farming, and then he just dies, and you're just like, oh, okay, and you just like slowly back off.
Yeah.
Really
It,
funny.
it yeah, it was just a miscommunication
Yeah,
that
for sure.
started the tilt spiral. I'll put it that way.
The tilt spiral.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know saved one. You weren't on the analyst position for the finals, right?
No. Yeah,
So,
no.
Christina, who did you guys have as your, coach and your analyst at the time?
So we actually hadn't had a coach until second half of that season. I pretty much acted as our coach analyst for all of season 3 and the first half of season 4, and I still did like probably about half of it for the playoffs and stuff. But midway through the season 4, I was just getting really burdened with school, so I did kind of like an application thing for coaches, and we got like 20 applications I want to say. Um, and we ended up going with this guy. His name is Oops. We call him Max. He was just kind of there to like moderate discussion, kind of facilitate things, and do some write ups over some of our games. And he was there for the second half of the season. He was a huge help because whenever we didn't really know what to go to, he would bring something up, or he was really good in terms of like moderating discussions, like I said. And then we also added in playoffs after Space Age Wizards lost, we added Kuro Sakai since he was a really good friend of mine. I was talking to him, and he decided to come in as an analyst for us for our last two playoff matches. And he was a big help because he did a lot of scouting and a lot of pick ban stuff for us, which was awesome since I didn't have the time to put into it. So yeah, it was basically those two guys were the only two that did a lot for us. We also had other analysts that we tried to pull in for a couple weeks during the regular season, and they all kind of just unfortunately disappeared on us or just had their own issues. So yeah, it was mainly just Kuro and Yoops who did the coaching analyzing for us.
That's actually kind of what ticked me off a little bit because I remember Christina posted it was like I want to say 3/4 into the season, he posted that they need analysts, and I was just like, I'm gonna get right on that, right? And I sent in my application. I analyzed some games, and they said, "Nah, you're not an analyst."
It wasn't me, by the way, who did that.
It
It was our
wasn't you.
coach.
No, it wasn't
Yeah.
you
Our coach
telling
was
me
doing most
that.
of the decision making.
Yeah,
I
that was
was
him.
part of the decision making, but
Yeah, he was just like, "No, you're not, fit. We found better people." And I was just like, "Okay, I respect that." Right? And then I was watching House After Party where Christina was their first guest, and he said that the analysts ended up just leaving like randomly. I was just like, "What is that?" Like I wouldn't like I was just thinking what what I would have done if I was in that analyst position. Like I would have, you know, like praising like like my spot type thing. Like it's a big deal to be a part of White Lightning, and I really wanted to be a part of it, but I couldn't. So I got a little bit off. So I was just like, all right, Christian, I need to be on this new roster, and here I am.
Really cool. So,
Yeah.
Kuristina, after the finals, what were your thoughts? You know, finishing up the season, and like, what were your plans going forward?
Basically my plans were to like freaking stop grinding league and being a player because I love playing like competitive games. I love playing like being the AD carry for my team and being the leader and stuff. But it's really stressful. It really takes a lot of time. And with me having a job and full time student next semester, it's not realistic for me to be a player because I need to put in the time to actually play the game. On top of doing everything else I do in game and everything. So I just decided, all right, it's time for me to step down. I'm gonna manage a team, set up a new team, and then just kind of be the head coach of them. It was my plan going into next season, and my players were able to do whatever they wanted, and it ends up all my players ended up wanting to take smaller roles in the team or just be done completely. So yeah, it's just kind of where we're sitting. I have 5 new guys lined up. I think I'm gonna announce it on Reddit. Because they kind of want me to have like an official announcement. I don't know if I can really say officially yet. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's kind of just that situation. We just had all our guys step down because they were just. I guess it was probably the motivation thing. I guess everybody just was like, yeah, we just won back-to-back championships. League was a lot more competitive this year. It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. So we're just kind of gonna step back from here and maybe play some ranked fives down the line just as a chill thing. But yeah, that was pretty much how that went.
Yeah, I'm honestly so excited to have like 5 new people because like let's just say if like one of them came back, like they would be known as something. But since it's like 5 new people, some people know some of the players on our team from like last season or something. Then most of our players are like new rookies. So I'm actually super excited to announce that.
Yeah, and
S-
I just want to say really quick, talent wise, I think this roster, like mechanics, like individual skill wise, I think this new roster is stronger than our old roster by actually a decent margin. So it's gonna be pretty exciting to see if I can help shape them into the kind of team play that my old team had. So we'll see.
oh, so you're hoping to become the new fanatic, huh? From
Yeah, man, bring in 5 new guys. Well, they brought one, but yeah,
yeah,
same
bring
idea.
4 new guys, working like that. So I talked to other teammates about how they felt about winning the final, and a lot of them were like, "Oh yeah, it's pretty cool. It's whatever. We won season 3 too, so it's cool." But
Yeah.
what Was that really what you guys felt? It's just like, oh damn, we won another championship.
Uh, like it sounds really shitty, but it was kind of just like because I think I don't want to say the pressure was on us to win this championship because I don't think it was really like on us. It was just the fact that we were like so heavily favored like throughout the season. Or throughout the playoffs. I guess throughout the season, for some reason, people thought we were like this awful team. Is like the thing I get a lot, but it seemed like we were just favorites for like every game we played in the playoffs. So there was, and it's not like we took it as a pressure situation. It's just kind of as we took it as okay, we're just gonna do our job. We're just gonna win, and that's that. We were just expected to win. We expect a lot out of ourselves at this point, just because we know what we're capable of. We've been together forever, so um, we just knew going in that I guess it was just confidence. It was just like, yeah, we're gonna win. We won, so it wasn't as hypey as the season 3 finals where we were, we didn't know what to expect. Those finals. This final is just like no preparation. Whatever happens, happens. We're expected to win, so if we win, great. If we lose, it'll be a bummer. But yeah, it's kind of hard to explain. I guess that's the best way I could put it, though.
Okay, so after the finals, we got to see the award ceremony, and we saw that one Simcav won best support,
Right.
and then Chixtag LB won best jungler, and there was a lot of surprise that you didn't win best AD carry. What do you think about it?
Right. What did I think about it? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Uh, uh, well, personally, I think Kevin was or Simkev 2 was like by far and away the best. So he was super deserving of that award. Um, Six Sig LP, my brother, winning best jungler, what I think was probably maybe a little controversial, but I think he totally ended up deserving that because of the transition he made from being a solo laner to jungler and the leaps and bounds he made as like a player during the season. He kind of was an unsung hero of our roster because he was um he man, I don't know how to word it. Um, he was never expected to do much as like a player who wasn't in his role. Just kind of came in out of nowhere. He was the youngest guy on our team. But he stepped up big time. And there was a couple games during the regular season where he just straight up like won us the game off of really great ganks and stuff. So I think that award for him was like really deserving, despite what some people think. Me not winning best AD carry was a little weird, seeing as I won MVP. So I thought for sure, I guess I would win best AD carry. And personally, I think I did deserve to win best AD carry. But even if I didn't, I thought maybe somebody like Kuro would win because he carried his team a lot of times during the earlier parts of the season. So seeing Akanda win it, no disrespect to him as a player because he's a phenomenal individual player, I just thought was a little weird because of kind of the nature of that team, like the no shows and the things that happened. It just I guess I didn't really watch him a whole lot. But yeah, it was a little strange, but I'm not too miffed about it. So winning MVP was good enough for me.
Okay, so now moving forward, the entire White Lightning roster is gone. No more the season 3 champions. No more the season 4 champions. You're coming in as a completely new team in season 5. Uh, I'll put this to SavedOne. Since you just recently joined the roster, what are you thinking of the team lately?
I think they're very, very skilled. We haven't really had any like official practice, like they've just had like little like team get-togethers type things. When we have the official practices, I think they're gonna just stomp everyone. But I don't know. Like I know most of the guys on the team, and all the guys on the team are very, very close. Like they all just like get on TeamSpeak sometimes, and they'll all just like 5-man queue up, and they all just like laugh, and it's amazing. Like the team environment. That's actually one of the things that Kuristina mainly focused on when he was choosing a new roster. Was how do they interact with each other? Because we already know the skill of the player, but how they interact with each other is another thing. Like if there's gonna be like 3 guys who don't like each other, then there's obviously something wrong. And if there's one guy that doesn't really take everything as seriously as he needs to, then he shouldn't really be there. So that's exactly what we looked when we were doing all the interviews and all of that different stuff. When we did sort of like the first batch of tryouts. Um, so I think this team they mesh really well together. They all have really really good laughs, and yeah.
And what about you, Chris? What do you think of them?
I think that if they acquire like the team play and like the understanding, the knowledge of the game that my team did through fives or playing together as a team, that they'll be better than my old team was. But from the stuff I've initially seen, they have like zero team play, so it's gonna be really really interesting trying to like develop these guys because they're like I said, they're all phenomenal individual players. Like, um, if you like going down the line matchup like mid v mid, support v support, AD versus AD, like compared to my old roster, like they can either hold their own or are better, I'd say, in every single position. So yeah, it's just gonna be a matter of hopefully them being pretty coachable and hopefully them being willing to adapt to a more team play style since a lot of them are just solo queue players. So previously some of them played on fives teams, but they weren't like the greatest in terms of their team play. So it's just gonna be a matter of getting them to understand how to play the game as a team. And if they can do that, yeah, this team will definitely be a contender for the title next season if they can do that. So
So
Yeah,
okay,
one of the most.
no, you can go.
Sorry, what?
You can go.
Okay. One of the most important things in like my opinion about being an analyst and like analyzing a team is if the players can take criticism, which I think that this team can do very, very well.
yeah, I agree.
Uh, so I've got no worry analyzing the team. So
Okay, so from what I'm hearing from you guys both, you guys are telling me that these guys are mechanically skilled players, right?
yeah,
And so,
Right. Yeah.
and you tell me that they have zero to no, like a little to no gameplay, team play.
yeah.
Team play is pretty hard to build when you don't have people who are really dedicated to learning and working together. Do you think that
For
might be a
sure. Yeah.
problem later?
I think it could be a little bit of a problem from what I've seen. I think it'll be definitely a slow process, um, and they'll definitely be growing pains like with any new completely random 5-man roster. But I'm pretty confident in our staff's ability since I have Oops Max still helping me as a coach, and Daniel SavedOne is going to be helping out as well along with myself. I'm really confident in our ability to if they're willing to listen, like there's no reason this team won't be able to you know um, become really good at the team play aspect and really grow as a team and compete for a championship. I just don't see it happening unless they're just unless I'm really misreading their kind of personalities and the way they're going to be going about things. They seem super dedicated. They seem like they're on a bunch. They're always playing. They're always trying to get better. So I'm pretty damn confident that they're going to be contending for a championship this season.
Okay. And so, which one of you two guys spends more time with them?
I want to say me so far, but
Yeah,
uh,
for sure.
Yeah.
I was
because
on vacation
I mean,
for this last week. So basically the only thing I've been involved with them so far would be I was spectating their games, when I was doing tryouts and I was there for the first couple tryouts. But other than that, I was in like Arizona and Florida, like away from home on vacation. So I've hardly been there at all for them. So it was actually a godsend that Daniel, the saved one, was there to help out because he's been on quite a bit with them from what I understand. So that's awesome that he's been there for him. So
yeah, like one thing that I think is very, very important for captains to do is even analysts is just like interact with the team, try and make them laugh, try and develop that relationship. Mainly because when you do start to criticize them, then they take that more to consideration because if you got a guy and he does not interact with the team whatsoever and then he all of a sudden gets on for the first practice when the team's already been together for like a good 3 weeks and all of a sudden just starts like criticizing everything that they do, they're just like, okay, who is this guy? Do I really want to take his advice? Right? But I think that now if I go into like their channel and I start like criticizing their play, not really like criticizing because that's kind of a harsh word, but if I start analyzing like their games and I'm giving them like tips and stuff to try and get better at the game, I think that they'll take that into consideration a lot more than if I just like showed up out of nowhere.
Mhm. And save one personal question. What personally is your rank at League right now?
Plat 5.
Okay, so there's a lot of talk of that. Pro players, they sometimes don't respect their analysts and their coaches because they think they don't know about the game as much as they do because they're not as highly ranked as they are. Or you think that might be a problem going forward since most of your members are diamond and higher? You think they might not want to listen to you since you're technically less skilled in their eyes?
Honestly, not really, because I think we could use TSM for this example. Because Reginald is Diamond 5. Parth, which was their old analyst, was Diamond 5 as well. But like the way that Reginald interacted with the team, they seemed to really respect him, and anything that Parth had to say as well, they also respected him as well. From my experience so far with the team, because we did do one practice where I just I analyzed like what they were doing and the certain practices, and they all like seem to like respect my opinion because it's one thing to be playing in the game, right? Because when you're playing in the game, you just see what's happening in your lane, right? We'll take bot lane for example. You only see what you and your support are doing, but then all of a sudden you see like an ally has been slain in the top lane, and you're like, what the heck happened? And the only thing that you see is where the person died and like their comments after that, like, oh gosh, this guy's so OP, right? But then if you got an analyst and he's just like, well, you died because of this reason, then the guy could be like, oh, okay, I respect that. Maybe I was too overextended. Maybe I wanted a farm, maybe like a couple CS, but I could have just backed and just gotten my item. But yeah, I think that I'll have no problem with this team.
Okay. And Kuristina, you're gonna be head coach. Do you think you're gonna be able to, are you gonna be making final decisions? Are you making decisions on rosters? Can you just say, okay, you're off the team? Is that how you're gonna be,
Um,
or
no,
something
yeah,
else?
that's what I plan to be. I don't know if it's gonna be allowed since I won't be playing. It's kind of gonna be up to admins if I'm gonna have that power. That's my plan. I want to have like a lot of control. I want to be able to like lead practices because I think that was like um my strongest quality with the old team is that I was like the leader of the team, right? I was able to organize things. I was able to make sure people were on time, kind of lead discussions and stuff, facilitate things pretty well. So I just think that that was one of the bigger reasons that we had a lot of success as the old team. So I really want to have that for this new team, seeing as like I think that was a big reason for success. Um, so hopefully I'm allowed to do those kind of things. I don't plan on making any just randomly like, hey, you underperformed a week, get rid of a player. Like that's obviously not what I'd be doing. I'd just be the same exact thing I was with the old team. We only replace people if we have to, and just kind of the leader of the team. And hopefully they want me to do that and allow me to do that. If not, I'll probably just kind of slowly fade away from the team, from the scene, since real life is well pretty real at the moment. So I don't know how much time I'll be able to put into things, but that's just kind of the plan going forward. Um, I just hope to be a leader for them, I guess, is how I'll word it.
Mhm. It seems like you want to be like a leader plus owner type thing. House Party 5 doesn't have owners; it has captains. But going
Right.
forward, having owners would definitely put players in their place. It's like if you're my owner, I can't talk shit to you because or I can't play really I can't expect to play poorly and then have a bad attitude and then still maintain on my position on the roster. Do you think that's
No, yeah,
something House Party 5 can do in the future?
yeah, and I think that's kind of like what I've talked with a couple admins about my position and how I kind of want to be viewed. Manager, owner, however you want to word it. And so far with my players, they've definitely treated me kind of with that respect. Mainly because I was the one who like hosted tryouts. Some of them knew me as like the MVP from last season, the captain of like two-time champions, and they're on like team now. And it's kind of cool because a lot of them are like realize this. They're part of this. It's almost like I guess I'll use the word tradition. Now with White Lightning. Because when I heard with Daniel when he said he was joining, like, yeah, it's White Lightning, dude. I got to get on like this, cool team. They're like really good, and it's like even though we're replacing all our players, that I don't know if mantra is the right word. It's still kind of there. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, because like when teams put out their application, like, oh, we're looking for a new top laner, you want to see what type of reputation they had. So when Kuristina put out his I guess team offer for everyone else, everyone sort of had the mindset initially, oh my gosh, it's White Lightning, so I have to get on that team because these guys are monsters, and if my team basically carries me, to the finals, while I put in, like half decent effort, then I'll be good. Uh, and then I'll have like this cool icon on TeamSpeak, and everyone will know me as like Season 5 White Lightning champions. But then it's like we're replacing our whole entire roster. Kirstina's moving up to owner, captain, right? He'll be there, but I also need to put in 100%. Yeah.
Okay, and so some interesting questions. Are we gonna be seeing any older HP5v5 members on this new roster?
Uh, Yeah, there's a couple I'm actually like willing to announce. There's just a couple that I'm not sure about some things. Alcantos is actually gonna be our starting top laner. He was the old mid for Vanquished. Um, Yeah, he's a really great dude. He was one of the first guys I actually reached out to, and there was actually really rare for me, in this process to reach out to people to ask them to be a part of the team, and he was one of the guys that I actually reached out to personally. I was like, "Yo, do you want to be a part of this, new team?" And thankfully he accepted because he's an awesome guy. I'm really excited to have him on our team, and he's making the switch to top lane, so we'll see how that goes. He's really talented, so I know he can pull it off. And then we're using Artha as our jungler. He was on the minor league team. I believe their name was Euphorian Gaming. And they got disbanded because of some unfortunate series of events with the whole account policy stuff. So yeah, so those two guys are going to be our top and jungle, and they both have been involved with House Party to my knowledge in the past. The other guys, I'm not really sure what their involvement has been. So
It's actually kind of cool, because I actually met Alcantos. We were a part of this community. It was called EME, and that stood for Every Man's Echo. It was actually kind of cool. Um, but they had kind of like sister teams. So I was actually the analyst of the lower kind of division team with all the golds and the plats. And then Alcantos was actually the head captain of all of the diamonds. And there was this one night where I was like, okay, actually want to. I want to become the analyst for the diamond team, mainly because it was like the time slots or something like that. The diamond team had a better time slot. Uh, um, so I was just like, can I make a switch? And then they were like, okay. So I got to work with Alcantos there, and from there we became like really, really good friends. And then it was actually the finals, White Lightning versus Vanquished, where he's like, dude, you gotta tune in. This is like the finals. It's awesome. And I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. So I tuned in, and then I saw all of these like really, really good players just like playing, and I was just like, dude, I want to be a part of this community. So I joined the community, and that's where I actually became the analyst for Vanquished, because I was on there for a little bit. And then Alcantos got an offer from Kuristina, and then I was like, yo, take me along with you. I want to become the analyst for them. So like put in like a good word for me type thing. Um, but then I also had to do my part, so I sent a Kirsty an application, and that's he switched to top lane, and I'm the analyst. So it's pretty cool.
Did you help to filter through applicants?
Yeah,
yeah,
there was
yeah, he
actually
helped a
uh,
lot.
yeah. Do you want to talk first?
No, I was just perfect. Yeah, you,
Oh,
you
okay.
helped quite a bit. It
Yeah.
was awesome having you help. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was cool because like right when the start, like from like the very first tryout spot, we had like a bunch of applicants. We had like all these different ADCs and supports. Like our mid laner and top laner, they were just there. Like there was no switch, I would say. Alcantos was just there. He would get a solo kill like every 5 seconds, so that was really fun to see. Because he was playing like Darius, so
Yeah.
that was actually really really funny. We actually made one of the teams actually open mid, which was it was actually a shock, honestly. But yeah, like Contest was a mid laner as we were saying, so that was fun. But um, I think I was just kind of there just to interview each player, see what they're like, see how their personality is like, see if I could get along with them, and yeah.
How long did the application process take?
Not as
Uh,
long as I had hoped. I
uh,
think it was it was just really unfortunate timing since I went on vacation and was with family the whole time. So I had to rush like decisions and stuff, and it kind of pissed a lot of people off.
it was
That's it. It's just how it goes sometimes. I'd say it was about a week. I want to say maybe just under a week
maybe
that we
like
did applications and tryouts. 5 days
three, four
maybe.
days, yeah. It was
Yeah.
actually kind of funny because you were telling me about all of these like all these people that wanted to try out, and I was just like, all right, I'm ready to like try out like 10 different people, and we only tried out like I would say five, and
Yeah.
and then we had our support, our ADC, and our jungler try out all at the same time, which is actually on our current roster. And our ADC and support got along really well. They were laughing a lot in the bottom lane, but then when it was serious, they turned into like this very very serious duo, right? And right after the tryouts were done, I messaged Kuristina and he was just like, so how did the team do? Um, and I was just like, well, the bottom lane got along really well. Jungler was ganking everywhere. Alcantos did really well. Our mid laner was doing really well. And then it was just like, all right, this is my roster. This is it. This is what we're going with. And I was just like, what about like the other 10 people that tried out? And then he's just like, no, 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 no. We're not going to do those guys. We already have our roster. We have these guys who have amazing personalities and amazing mechanical skill. So let's just recruit them and we'll just practice. And right after that, actually, our bottom lane just started duoing for like 2 days straight. Like they were just like together, no matter how many times they lost or won. Because like that's what turns some duos off. Like if they lose maybe 2 or 3 games in a row, then they're just like, holy crap, I don't like this guy. I don't want to duo with this guy. But no matter how many times they lost together, they always wanted to improve. Which is what I see right now. Like when they're like the whole entire team practices, I want to see like the bottom lane and have they been creating any strats with each other? Like have they do they have any like secrets to pull out? And I've seen a few, and they're very, very skilled together. So
Okay, so I want to backpedal a bit because I forgot to ask this question earlier. But Christina, you've been playing with SimKev for a long time now.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
how did it feel? Now you guys aren't gonna be playing together much anymore. But how was your relationship while you guys were playing?
Uh, well, I won't give it the whole story, since I gave that on the house after party thing. But our relation, strictly talking about our relationship, it was up and down, I guess. We were both really, really competitive by nature. When we were just playing for fun, obviously, we're really good friends since we go all the way back to high school together. Now being both, halfway through college. Um, but in terms of in the game, definitely butted heads. And I think that was because we were so close. We felt like we could say anything to each other, and at times it just kind of rubbed each other the wrong way. Um, but it definitely helped us improve like a lot faster because we weren't really afraid to hold anything back. Like Kevin screws something up, right? I'm not afraid to say, "Yo, you screwed it up." And if I am doing something wrong, I can't even think of an example. Missing too much CS, he's like, "Yo, dude, like focus on the CS or something." That's a horrible example, but you get the idea. So we weren't really afraid to say things to each other. And we just improved really fast. So when we were doing well, which was a majority of the time, it was a lot of fun. We definitely pretty close.
and I actually kind of think that actually motivates the other person to do well as well. Is if Simkev is just like, Christina, your Lucian's bad, and you're just like, what? What'd you just say to me? My Lucian's godlike, and then you just like pull off like this crazy triple kill, and then he's like, all right, I take it back. Then it kind of like motivates you guys to like do something better. So yeah.
I don't think that specifically ever happened, but I
Yeah,
get your
but
point. Yeah, no, we definitely pushed each other to play better.
yeah.
It was a good time. We were a great bot lane. I'll put it that way. It was fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk that you guys are the best bot lane ever. You guys agree with the statement?
I definitely think we were, especially at the end. I think when the preseason changes hit, it helped us a lot because the season before was more at the time was more scaling oriented champions. Like I was stuck on stuff like Jinx, which I like playing, but I hate laning with. Like I was really a poor laner myself on scaling stuff. So when we finally got to play stuff like um, more aggressive stuff like Lucian Thresh for example, or Lucian I don't know Nautilus was probably our best bot lane. I think we were like phenomenal. Like I don't remember really ever losing 2v2s. The only 2v2 I remember losing was excuse me, was the game 3 of the finals just cuz Kevin made a small derp and then I tilted from there. But yeah, it was just like 2v2. I believe that my teammate said this too. It was just like we were always expected to at the very least go even or win. A lot of the times like when we were scrimming or practicing, it was just Kevin and I beasting on bot lane and kind of winning the game from that. So um yeah, I definitely think we were the best bot lane, and probably together for the longest that I can remember out of all the other bot lanes in House Party for the 2 seasons we were there. So yeah.
And new roster. How are you gonna deal with players butting heads?
Well, I don't know. That'll come. I'll probably just tell them to like sit down, shut up, um, and like listen to the coaching staff because players butting heads. It's like it happens a lot, and it's not always necessarily unhealthy. Sometimes it depends on the situation. Sometimes two guys are gonna be going at it, and you're just gonna have to kind of like let it go, because it's actually productive talk. It's actually stuff they need to get out. So it's kind of just gonna be situation to situation, and then hopefully afterwards, after to clean up the mess. Hopefully, our coaching staff can do a good job of doing that. So yeah,
I
we'll see how that all goes.
I think at the moment, I don't think there's going to be any like huge butting heads. I think the only thing that could maybe pop up would be between maybe our jungler and our AD, or something along those lines, or like our ADC and our support, or maybe like I don't know, because the top lane doesn't really talk as much, but and also our mid lane sort of talks, but they both really want to just stay quiet, and those three mainly just like talk a lot. So maybe if one guy's um opinion or like call doesn't agree with the other, and then there could be maybe some interaction there. But I was actually on Vanquished when the whole enemy situation was there, and if you don't know what that is, basically enemy was the captain of the team, like he was like the head honcho, and at the time the ruling was the captains can't be booted off. So there was a huge like fight between our top laner and our jungler who was enemy, and he wanted to switch into like the AD role, but then we're just like, no, you can't do that, and it was just a lot of drama, and I don't know.
Okay, so you know, your team, you guys are guaranteed a spot in the major league or the Premier League, but we don't know how you guys are gonna do. You guys are telling me you guys might be our champion contender. But what happens if your team doesn't live up to the hype and they fall flat? They go like I don't know. They don't make playoffs. What do you do then?
That's actually a great question. I have no idea what the plans are if we don't do well. I'll probably just kind of adjust week to week, make roster changes as needed, and just do as any other team would do. I've never been put in a situation where I've been on a team that's actually been struggling or low in the standings, so that'll just be a completely new experience, and we'll just kind of have to take it as we go. Um, I totally don't expect that to happen for us, like missing the playoffs. I really don't see that happening with this roster. If that does happen, um, it'll it'll be considered like a massive failure on like everyone who's a part of the team's part. I really just with the talent we have, there's no reason we're not making playoffs. So I fully don't expect that to happen, and that's just gonna have to be something that we tackle if it does end up happening. I really don't think it will though, so I'm not too worried about that.
Okay, and save this one's for saved one. I know you're the analyst currently. So have you been looking at other teams? Have teams been practicing, getting up rosters, like
Honestly,
top tier talent switching around?
not really, because a part of me wants to say that I'm not really too worried about the other teams. Um, but another reason why is because my like our team is constantly practicing, right? We're always playing solo queue. Like I think our mid laner's in a game right now. Like every single player is super dedicated to this game. Even like our support. I think our support's one of the most dedicated. Mainly because he talks a lot, and then he also will admit if something's wrong, like with himself even. Like he asked me the other day, dude, do you want to spectate one of my games? Because I think that I'm underperforming and I need you to like help me out, right? And I was just like, sure, whatever. Um, but yeah, what was the initial question? Totally forget.
Just
Oh,
worrying about other teams, like
Oh yeah, yeah.
what you think about other teams.
But yeah, I think that other teams have a lot of talent, and I'm excited to see what they bring to the table. But yeah,
anyone you're looking out
Yeah,
for in particular?
I've heard Naz's team, but they're in the minor leagues.
yeah, we
So
won't be playing them this
yeah,
season.
we won't be playing those guys. But I actually got to cast one of the Never Clucky games, or actually the whole entire Never Clucky Finals series. And they look like a pretty decent team, so I think that they'll be pretty good. Um, Other than that, the Beetle Bandits. No, I'm joking. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
No,
Yeah.
if I can steal off that question quick, I think
Yeah.
this season is definitely going to be the most competitive season of House Party. Like it's definitely gotten more competitive every season, but I think this like it's going to be a notable step up because I'm super disappointed that my old White Lightning roster never got to play against
Never
Never
Clucky.
Clucky because yeah, I viewed that team as like they're almost kind of like a mirror of of our team. They were like pretty solid players individually, right? Maybe not the best in their entire league, as far as my knowledge. Like I think there was like maybe one or two other teams that had better players, solo queue rating wise or whatever, or individually. Then that was kind of the same deal with our team, but their team play is like really phenomenal, and the way they mesh together is really phenomenal. And I don't think they even dropped a game in minor
They
league,
did
which is
not.
like really similar. Yeah, really similar to our run through
Actually,
the Premier League last season.
yeah,
So
I believe they haven't dropped the game at all. They
yeah,
didn't
so
drop a
they
game in the
dropped it.
Swiss
They dropped
tournament,
twice.
huh?
They went undefeated.
They didn't drop a game in the Swiss tournament. They didn't drop a game in the regular season, and they didn't drop a game in the playoffs, I believe. So it's like
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did.
that's like I said. I'm super disappointed we don't get to play against them. I think they're hands down gonna be top tier
yeah.
next season. Like there's no doubt
Actually,
in my mind.
I don't know if you watch House After Party, but on the latest episode, Anson joined, and Anson and Dave were just saying like, oh, we need to contact Kuristina. We need to get a show match going. You know, old
I
White
actually missed
Lightning.
that. I watched a lot of it. Yeah, that's unfortunate because I was thinking about some type of show match with my old team versus my new roster too. I
Yeah.
never really thought of that way. Having the minor league play the Premier League team, it'd be really hard for my team to be like put up a good fight against them because I'm sure they're still in practice. While I haven't hardly touched the game the last 2 weeks, and like I
Mhm.
can say that for almost my entire roster, and I don't even know if some of them have played the game at all. So we definitely wouldn't be like anywhere near the old team we were, but it might be something cool
Yeah.
to try and
You know,
do.
something
Yeah,
cool to do.
I'll have to talk to my guys. We would probably be more of a troll game, but it'd be interesting. It'd be cool. I'd be
O-
down for sure. So
okay, so Kuristina, since you did watch some of it, of the House After Party, here's a question that came from it. Anson was saying that when the Junior League gets started, every single Premier League team will be sponsoring a Junior League team. What are your thoughts on that? Since you're going to be technically an owner manager of White Lightning, would you put the same effort in for your Junior League team?
I would probably, since I'm gonna barely have enough time for my Premier League team this season, just the way like I'm working, 20 hours a week, and I have school, junior year in college, it's going to be really, really rough even with the Premier League team. So I probably have to have my other staff and then players if they want to put in any time themselves. I'd probably have to give it over to them. I mean, I'd obviously be involved in some way, shape, or form, but I'm just not going to have the time to do something like that, which is unfortunate because the idea is really cool. It's really great, especially if the junior league players like are actually, dedicated to getting better. So it'd kind of be a shame that I can't put as much time and effort into that, but I'd definitely be more focused. My job is going to be with my Premier League team, and then whatever time my other guys want to put or can put into the Junior League team will be put there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool idea. It's definitely a cool idea. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay. And, you guys are the first dynasty. You guys have won season 3 and season 4. And,
Yeah.
your prospects are looking good. Going to season 5. Are you hoping to maintain this dominance?
Oh, of course, obviously. It'd be awesome to win 3 championships in a row. To have been a part of that, even though it won't be me playing. It's winning 2 seasons in a row. Like I know we said it didn't really matter after winning the second title, but it's still like looking back on it. And I think maybe my brother said this in his interview that you just posted. It was really neat to just like kind of feel like yeah we actually did that. We actually like I think our record was like 30. I did the math. It was like 33-7 over like playoffs, regular season, the whole 2 seasons. Like that's like a phenomenal record, for 2 seasons of a really really competitive league. So
That's Claude 9 levels of dominance.
yeah. Not quite, but it, it it's yeah
Actually,
I
I
don't know.
believe that
It'd
might
be
be
cool
something
to be able
similar.
to win it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember Dave
sure.
saying you guys were his favorite team because you're so similar to Cloud9, just coming in and
Yeah.
dominating the scene.
Dave's a big C9 fanboy.
Yeah, actually, I saw his phone case, and he had the Cloud9 logo on it too, and then I was just like, that's the same phone case I have. I'm just like,
Oh God.
He even had the Cloud9 chair going.
yeah.
Holy, this guy.
Oh man, it's pretty cool. But saved one. What do you like? Give me some examples of the tryouts you had.
What do you mean?
So like, you're telling me you guys did really well,
Yeah.
but what are the comms like? What's the talk?
Okay. When it comes to comms, they're not really as skilled. Like on the weekend, since Kuristina hasn't really been there because he's been on vacation. I've been on vacation as well, but I wasn't really doing anything when I was on vacation this one day. So I was like, let me just stop by, see how they're doing. And they were actually in the middle of practice. So I was like, okay, let me just analyze one of their games. And when I was listening to comms, it was very, very just all over the place. So I was like, okay, let me try and maybe like help these guys out, see if what I have in mind could help, right? And right at that point, like after that game was over, like they all had really, really good scores and everything, and they were all mechanically skilled that game, but their comms were off. So I was just like, okay, who's gonna shot call? Who's gonna time wards? Who's gonna, shot call team fights? And that obviously doesn't come with just one game. Like I can't just say that and immediately who's ever the shot caller will get like the full skill. Like that obviously takes time. But I think if time goes by and we just keep practicing with this team, I think that they'll be pretty good. Like Kuristina said, maybe even better than his old roster. So
Mhm. Okay. And looking towards the future of HP 5v5, Christina, what are you gonna do after your, what say you guys win the next series, next finals?
Yeah.
Would you continue being coach and owner, or would you let someone else take the handle?
Obviously, I'm just gonna eventually run out of time since I'm coming up on close on graduating from college and stuff. I think in some way, shape, or form, as long as this house party is still going, I'll always try to be involved. Maybe doing a write up of a game once in a while or something like that's in the far future. But it's an awesome community that Dave, Anson, and all the other admins are or have going here. You're not gonna find anything like this anywhere else, no matter how hard you look. It's awesome. It's really fun for players of our level who are never going to be quite good enough, not never going to have quite enough time to put into challenger series stuff like that. To have like a league like right below it that's super competitive and it's really fun to be a part of. So I'm going to be involved with it in some way, shape, or form as long as I possibly can. And in terms of the White Lightning team and being involved with that, as long as there's a White Lightning, I can't really see myself being involved with any other team or anything other than being a coach, analyst, player, whatever it may be for White Lightning. So I plan on being involved with White Lightning as long as I possibly can, for sure.
Okay. And SavedOne, what about you? Plans going towards the future?
well, okay, I'm still in high school, right? So I've got like loads of time, right?
Yeah, same.
So I love analyzing, so that's a lot of fun. I love I'm pretty consistent with doing the in-house showcasts with flowers.
Mhm.
So that's like I love doing those because I just get to see all the talent in the community just like come out all in like these stream games and we get to showcase them. So that's amazing. I love the coaching staff on White Lightning. Like and I love like all the players. Like I get along with them all really, really well. So I think I'm gonna try and stay on White Lightning as long as possible. With that said, um, with being on White Lightning comes expectations. So I'm gonna be putting in 100% with all of my analyst skills, and I'm gonna try and interact with all of the players. Like you were just saying, how there's a junior league team. When there's 5 new guys, there's 5 new guys to interact with, in my opinion. So I'm gonna try and interact with those guys as much as possible, get them trained up so that they can smash the junior leagues, and then we'll have 2 championship teams in the junior leagues and in the Premier League.
Sounding confident that you're gonna win
Yeah, dude.
both.
Yeah, dude, you already know.
Holy.
Holy moly! All right, quote him right here. The SavedOne stating 2 season champions in the minor league, in the junior league, and in the Premier League. Okay, but what are you gonna name the junior league? Cause they'd be named after you, but it's gonna be slightly different.
gosh.
Anson gave the example of Black Lightning.
Black Thunder.
Black Lightning.
Thunder.
Black Thunder.
Black
Black
Thunder.
Thunder.
That's what we'll go with. How about that?
Oh,
Our,
man.
our rank
That's the
5's team right
first
now is
thing.
called Chocolate Thunder. So who knows what's gonna happen? We'll have all kinds of ideas.
Yeah. So this was really fun, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
So I hope in the future we'll get some more interviews with champions. Maybe I'll get to interview your champions Premier League team in the next season. And your junior league team apparently as well, Black Thunder.
Yeah,
Black
dude.
Thunder Mix.
So
The dream.
thanks for this opportunity. Any shout outs, plugs, sponsors you gotta call out?
Oh yeah, I'd like to thank I Buy Power, HTC. No, no, yeah, just shout out to the I just pretty much went on this rant, but shout out to the admins and Anson and all the other guys for giving players like us the opportunity to play in a league like this. It's fucking awesome to be able to play in something competitively that isn't solo queue. And it's just a great environment, great community, great everything. So hopefully this keeps going, and yeah, big thanks to those guys.
And shout out to our players that are going to be playing in this next season. I'm very excited to be a part of this, and yeah.
All right then. Thanks for the interview. Peace out, guys.
Yep. Thanks, bro.